Welcome to another edition of The Vibe. See who Shawn is speaking to today on the Diabetes Champions Network.
Shawn Shepheard here, and we have a special guest today from the capital of Canada, Ottawa, Ontario, and it's MacKenzie Huggins. And MacKenzie and her family I met a few months ago in Ottawa in the Senate. On Parliament Hill. That was the first time I was in the Senate, and we were at an event, technology and innovation in diabetes management, and I met MacKenzie and her family, and it was just, one of those great meetings and great energy and great conversation, and we finally got you on the show to interview. So first, MacKenzie, thank you very much for doing this.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, you're welcome. And you were just telling me that last week you started high school.
Yes, I did. It's awesome.
So you're almost 2 weeks into high school and still liking it.
Still liking it, yeah.
All right, great. So can you tell me a little bit about your diabetes journey and at what age you were diagnosed?
I was diagnosed at 11 in March 2012, just after March break. And we knew to look for the symptoms because my cousin also has type 1. Mm-hmm. So we went in for blood work, and within 24 hours, I was at the hospital, and they diagnosed me. And I was healthy enough to actually go home for the night, which was great. And they sent us in for a week of education, and we've been living with it ever since. I also got involved with the Juvenile Diabetes Research Foundation shortly after diagnosis, and I've been an ambassador with them since just after diagnosis. And so that's what I do to advocate and stuff.
Okay, great. So having that previous experience of your cousin living with diabetes, did that make it a little bit easier knowing and recognizing the signs?
Yeah, definitely. One of the main things is, you drink tons and you have to go to the bathroom a lot. And so as soon as I started doing that, my mom was like, okay, something is up. So she took me off actually main sources of sugar, which was great. Well, great for my health, not fun for me.
Yeah.
But it was great to know what to look for, and it was great to know that I could do this fine because obviously we had watched her survive and conquer it and do stuff with that. So it was great to know that I was going to be okay because just by looking at her.
Okay, great. So you were 14 years old, diagnosed now with diabetes and going on insulin. Can you take me back to when you were first diagnosed and what you were going through and feeling at the time?
Well, it was not fun. First, my main thing was I was really tired, so it didn't hit me until a few days afterwards, and then I was like, this sucks. Mm-hmm. But I tried to learn as much as I could about it, and at first we were doing syringes, and I learned exactly how those worked. I personally didn't give myself needles, but I knew exactly how they worked and how they function and how to do so. And I learned as much as I could about it, and I dealt with it, and we just take one day at a time.
And one thing that I like to talk about, too, is just the role of the family and friends as your support system. And can you tell me a little bit about your family and friends and how they live, how they help you with your diabetes every day?
Well, my family has been absolutely amazing. Mom and Dad were great, and my dad handles it well. My mom handles it great, and my little brother is awesome. He's very, very comfortable with the disease, and he can tell people about it, and he knows how it works. And then we have some great close family, especially, who were just amazing, and we have my best friend's family, they had us over for dinner the week after diagnosis, and they were just great for us, and they were awesome. And family has been great, friends have been great, and it's been really easy to be accepted into the community with diabetes.
Now, and you like me, wear an insulin pump, and one of my interviews not that long ago was with Miss Idaho, who has created quite a storm by wearing her insulin pump.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah, so I wanted to ask you, do you get asked a lot by people, about your insulin pump, or they're not quite sure what it is?
Well, especially as I started high school, because I went from a class where everybody knew what it was to I've been getting tons and tons of questions, and I was saying it's an insulin pump. I have diabetes that gives me insulin. And I actually had one of the kids whose locker is near me and who I do orientation day stuff with, and he's like, I see you have a pump, and I'm like, yeah, I do, and he's like, I have type 1 too. I have had it for like 8 years, and I'm not on pump yet because we're very hesitant to do so. And I was like, well, it's great, but I love that people notice it, and then I get to talk and inform people more about it. Like, I had a great conversation just today with a girl explaining exactly what diabetes is and what it does and what it means. So that was fun.
Yeah, I find the same thing too. That often it's an opening to talk about diabetes and how the pump works as well. So very cool. Now, I know that you do a lot of work with the JDRF in Ottawa. So can you tell me about what inspired you to get started with JDRF, and maybe tell me a little bit about what you've done with JDRF?
Well, at first we heard about JDRF, and I think that'd be fun, because one of the main things that struck me is I knew absolutely nothing about type 1 diabetes before I diagnosed this, and I'm like, that's an issue. People need to know more about this. Like, I knew somebody with type 1 diabetes, and I still had absolutely no idea how it worked. And I'm like, so we need to tell people about this. And Mom told me what being an ambassador for JDRF looked like, and I thought, that sounds great. That sounds great. And so after that, we got involved with the Diabetes Walk for a Cure. So I've been doing that for the past couple of years, and it's been super fun, and I love doing it. And we have our team, and I'm wearing my T-shirt for the team right now.
Yay! That's an awesome T-shirt.
We call it Mackenzie's Hope, because it's a play on my middle name, which is Hope. And I do the ride stationary for a cure. I've been doing that for 3 years. I speak there, and I'm an ambassador. And I got to go on TV to promote that. And I just did a luncheon thing where I promoted that. And so that was fun. And I've done littler events and speaking events, but mainly that's mostly what I've done with JDRF.
Well, that's awesome. And thank you very much for doing that. The diabetes community is one that's very giving, and I'm very thankful that it's such an exceptional community that helps and supports each other. So that's awesome.
Yeah, it's my pleasure.
Yeah, I have one more question for you. So if somebody, maybe a friend of yours, was recently diagnosed and about the same age, 14, 15 years old, what words of advice would you have for them in the early days of being diagnosed?
The first thing I'd say right off the bat is it gets better, and it really does, especially as you move through syringes and needles and you get onto the insulin pump, and it gets so much better. Also, that there are tons and tons of people there for you. The diabetes community gets it, so it's great to get involved. And you just take it one day at a time. I would tell them to do that, and to just, some days are worse than others, but you have great days too, and the longer you have it, the more easy it is to manage and the more amazing opportunities you get. So that's probably what I would say to them.
Well, excellent. Thank you for your time and your advice. And how would people, if they want to support what you're doing with JDRF, how would they support you?
I'm not sure. I think just supporting JDRF in general helps the ambassadors, because it's not just me. There are tons of kids who get involved with this, and they just as much as me need to be supported. So. Okay,
excellent. Again, thanks for doing that. I'll let you probably have some homework left to do, right? But thanks again, Mac, for doing this. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, bye for now.
Bye.